25th. Media team good?
August 25th.
August 25th. Not to be confused with August. Yes, thank you, council member, for reminding me what month it is. It's been that type of year. We will call the meeting to order. With that, I would ask that folks rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk.
Approve the minutes of the regular meeting on August 18, 2020.
Has every member had a chance to review the minutes? Is there any discussion or motions on the minutes at this time? If there is none, I will make a motion that we approve the minutes as read.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. If there's no discussion on said motion, clerk will open the roll. Members cast their vote. All members?
Councilmember Luba, did you cast your vote? Is it not working?
It's not signing in.
You can do the emperor thumb.
Type your name. And then hit sign.
Okay.
Thanks.
With the result of 7 yeas to 0 nays, the motion does pass. Madam Clerk.
Consent agenda items 1 through 10.
Has every member had a chance to review the consent agenda? And if so, is there any discussion on the consent agenda? If there is no discussion on the consent agenda, I will make a motion that the consent agenda passes as printed. Is there
Second.
a second? Oh, you're good. Motion has been made and seconded twice by the Vice Mayor. If there's no discussion on said motion, clerk will open a roll. Members cast the vote. With the result of 7 yeas to 0 nays, that motion does pass. Madam Clerk.
Report of Board of Bids and Contracts dated August 24th, 2020, and Wichita Airport Authority Report of Bids and Contracts dated August 24th, 2020.
Excellent. Welcome and good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Mayor, City Council, Hannah Lang, Department of Finance, here to present the Board of Bids recommendations. First engineering bid we have is sanitary sewer from Lift Station 47. Recommendation is Wildcat Construction for $354,502.10. Water distribution system to serve RF Addition Phase 2. Recommendation is to defer to August 31st Board of Bids. LED traffic signal lamps, defer to August 31st. Four-wheeled rubber-tired 4x4 loader and backhoe, no bids were received. Dwight D. Eisenhower National Airport parking structure repairs, defer to August 31st Board of Bids. This is the purchasing and procurement website, as well as our current open request for proposals. And that is the Board of Bids recommendations. With that, I'll stand for any questions.
Are there any questions? I got a text message saying that there are no questions I've sent you from the public. So that hasn't changed. Is there any discussion? If no discussion, I will make a motion that we take staff's recommended action to receive and file approved contracts and authorize the necessary signatures. Is there a second?
Second.
Second has been made by the Vice Mayor. There's no discussion on said motion. Clerk will open the roll. Members cast the vote. With the result of 7 yeas to 0 nays, that motion does pass. Madam Clerk.
Council member comments and appointments.
Well, we can start off with appointments. Are there any members who have appointments to make at this time? Well, members maybe getting on the list, I will ask for new appointments to the Small Business Advisory Council. We have reached our 3-month mark, and we are rotating out some members to bring in some new members while also appointing some of the existing members to another term. The continuing members will be Amber Beck, Wayne Bell, Ian Dimery, Felicia Despain, Kara Kaufman, Joey Kate Laurie, Janelle Robinson, and Faye Vonderlandwer. The new members will be Sharon Boone, Andrew Golf, Adam Harkey, Allie Kabar, Sarah Leslie, Tythan Miles, Brooke Russell, and Jacob Wayman. Councilmember Clendenin.
Yeah, Mayor, I accidentally hit that. I apologize.
Very good.
Well, I'll just go ahead.
Go for it.
I was going to wait until next time, but we might as well just do it now. I'd like to appoint Richard Ruth to my district advisory board. I have 2 more appointments I'm waiting on, but we'll just appoint him today.
All right, Richard Ruth will be added to the suggested appointments. Are there any other appointments? With that, I would make a motion that we accept the appointments.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. If there's no discussion on said motion, members will cast their vote. With the result of 7 yeas to 0 nays, the motion does pass. Back on to member comments. Are there any comments for the good of the body? Or discussion? I actually do have one for the manager, if he doesn't mind. I had there was an article in the Eagle yesterday about where the old Meads building is being replaced, but there'll be a bank on the, I guess, the bottom level. And the question was concerning sales tax, and if we were going to be able to have problems paying back the bonds if there is I guess a business in that area that doesn't really generate much sales tax. I assume banks don't generate the same sales tax as like a coffee shop. So just for the good of the public, I was hoping you could respond to that to help out with those who are watching.
Right, Mayor, thank you, good question. That's in a CID district, and the CID proceeds will be used for converting the street to two-way, and so we've adjusted the boundaries to recognize the loss of that revenue, anticipated revenue, sales tax revenue from that location. We'll still take bids for the full length, but we will take it in segments so that we can downsize. But in all likelihood, we'll be forced to reduce the size of this project.
Very good, thank you. Any other discussion? If not, I'll make Councilmember Fry.
Thank
Snuck
you.
on
Just
there.
to expound upon that, that was a pay-as-you-go CID, I believe. And wasn't there also proceeds from the sale of the parking lot?
Correct.
That also helps cover some of that cost for the Emporia two-way?
Yes, and that's already incorporated into the project that we think we can fund.
So how far do we think we'll be able to make it two-way with this limited?
It's
They all
me,
left.
isn't it? Yeah.
And apologize for springing this on you.
You can maybe just let us know.
I'll send it out to you. We do have what the boundaries are, what we think they are.
I
So
mean, it
I'll
makes
send
sense for it to, I think it was Second Street was Second to Dewey was what we had approved when we did the design approval, wasn't it? I'm looking at Cindy because it's her district.
It was further than that because Third Street was going to be converted to a stop sign. So I think it's Second, Dewey to Central, I believe.
Okay, so it might have to be scaled to
Yeah.
Second to Dewey, okay. Yeah, that'd be good for clarification, just to, with the limited funds now, how far we're gonna be able to make that.
I may have that for you in just a second, if you give me just a moment for it to come through.
Just here.
It's now a $400,000 project is what we're anticipating. And it showed them typing, but it hasn't.
And
come
that
through.
400 was the parking lot proceeds?
I think we had a little bit of capital improvement program
Tied to
funding
it
in
as
that
well.
Yeah. I think the sale was 300,000 for the parking lot. I think it
Okay.
was 300 from the parking lot and then additional.
But yeah, if the entire first floor is a bank, there is no sales tax generated from that, so.
That's what I figured. I thought it was a good question, and I figured that, we have open discussion, we might as well address it,
But I do think the important thing to note is that there is no debt that has been incurred, so we're
Correct,
not.
it's pay as you go.
It's pay as you go, so we're not left trying to find an alternative source for that. Excuse me, if there are other questions, you can deal with those, and I can get back to you in just a
You
second.
don't want us just staring at you as you wait for text messages? Is there any other discussion at this time? Yeah, and of course, I feel like these questions about this came up today, and I know that there are people who are concerned about it on the internet, so I understand if we don't have all the answers right now, as it was a little bit off the cuff. So if we need to discuss this further, I guess next week we can.
Apparently, they're preparing a CIP for me here.
Yes.
Okay, this just confirms what we had talked about. Actually, I'm sorry, there was no capital improvement program funding. It's $300,000, as the vice mayor said, from the sale of the parking lot, but we also had $100,000 from the sale of the lot to Planet Hair, adjacent to their building. So that's, but I'll go ahead and send something out to you on the boundaries, what we think we can get done for the $400,000.
Excellent, that'd be great. All right, with that, I will, if there's no further discussion, I'll go ahead and make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. If there's no discussion on the said motion, clerk will open the roll. Members cast the vote. The result is 7 yeas to 0 nays. The motion does pass, and we are adjourned. Thank you all.